YouTube is the most widely used video sharing platform on the planet. YouTube is mostly commonly associated with Google, and given that Google bought YouTube early on and has put billions into keeping it functioning, I believe Google deserves the majority of the credit for YouTube's current success. In October of 2006, they paid $1.65 billion to 3 guys for YouTube. In this video, we'll talk about how these 3 guys came to be the founders of YouTube, what have they been up to since the purchase, and what became of them. So, stay tuned to learn everything there is to know. We'll start with Chad Karim. Karim was born in Merseburg, East Germany on October 5, 1979, to parents who both worked as researchers. His father was a 3M researcher, while his mother was a University of Minnesota biochemistry researcher. Karim and his family immigrated to West Germany from communist East Germany when Karim was a child, and it was here, at the age of 12 or 13, that Karim spent the majority of his early childhood. Karim would relocate to St. Paul, Minnesota, for the second time. He attended the local high school, St. Paul Central High School, before going on to the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Karim, like many other tech entrepreneurs, left school to work for PayPal. Karim did not, however, drop out, and instead he continued his study while working at PayPal and completed his bachelor's in computer science. This wasn't quick by any means, since it took him 7 years to get his bachelor's degree, but he did eventually graduate. Meanwhile, Karim met 2 men at PayPal with whom he would later co-found YouTube. Karim claims that he was inspired to create YouTube because he couldn't find famous clips online. Karim apparently was unable to locate clips of the Super Bowl 36 or the 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami on the internet. Karim and 2 PayPal enthusiasts bought the name YouTube in January 2005 and spent the following few months developing the website. Karim would capture and release the first video on YouTube, titled Me at the Zoo, on April 23, 2005 at the same time. Karim was a major figure in the early stages of YouTube's development, although he eventually stepped down. While Karim appreciated entrepreneurship, he also enjoyed education and decided to pursue a master's degree rather than establishing YouTube. Regardless, while completing his master's in computer science at Stanford, Karim acted as an informal advisor to YouTube. However, YouTube's compensation will be drastically reduced as a result of this decision. Karim acquired a total of 137,443 Google shares when Google purchased YouTube, which was valued at around $64 million at the time. If he could just hold on to that stake, today, he'd be well on his way to becoming a billionaire. Karim, on the other hand, had no desire to live the life of a billionaire. Karim admits that while his entrepreneurship achievement is impressive, he really wants to be a professor. Unfortunately, it doesn't appear like Karim went on to become a professor, at least not according to what's available online. Karim, on the other hand, chose a path of study over a path of wealthy retirement. Karim completed his master's degree at Stanford and co-founded University Ventures, or Y Ventures. Karim and a few other well-known entrepreneurs founded Y Ventures to provide mentorship, consultancy, and finance to up-and-coming businesses. Airbnb, Reddit, Palantir, Postmates, and Opendoor are just a few of the prominent names they've worked with. With Karim, that's pretty much it. He basically just maintained his schooling after YouTube and went on to invest in and mentor other firms. Next, we have Chad Meredith Hurley, who was undoubtedly YouTube's most active co-founder. Chad was born in Reading, Pennsylvania on January 24th of 1977. Chad was artistically inclined, unlike many other tech founders who are exceptionally talented in STEM courses. During his early school years, he sold many of his sketches and artworks. He developed a liking for technology as he progressed through high school. However, technology was not a major part of his life. Moving on to college, Chad revived his childhood interest and majored in fine arts at the Indiana University of Pennsylvania. After university, Chad also worked at PayPal, although not in the tech department. Chad was actually working on the PayPal user interface and logo. Chad became the company's first CEO, though he was technically CEO after the trio created YouTube in early 2005. His early responsibilities included mostly overseeing YouTube's tagging and video sharing features. Chad earned the largest financial payout of the 3 founders during the acquisition, receiving a total of 694,087 shares of Google personally and 41,232 shares through a trust. This came to $345 million in total. Chad, for one, did not leave YouTube following the purchase. Chad remained the CEO of YouTube until the end of 2010, when he quit to pursue other business opportunities. Chad co-founded AVOS Systems, an incubation firm that allowed app developers to develop and test their apps in real time, shortly after stepping away from YouTube. Initially, the organization served as an incubator, assisting in the development of various apps. Chad, on the other hand, had his eye on one particular software, Mixbit. Mixbit was a mobile video sharing platform, and he wanted to use it to revolutionize mobile video sharing in the same way that YouTube did for computer-based video sharing. However, as we know now, YouTube has also dominated the mobile space. Despite the fact that Mixbit never reached the heights of YouTube, the effort was not entirely in vain. Blue Jeans purchased certain components of Mixbit in 2018 with the intention of incorporating the technology into enterprise video conferencing products. Chad has also made a few big investments in the sports sector in the meantime. He bought a piece of the Los Angeles Lakers football team and Magic Johnson. He later became a shareholder in the Golden State Warriors and Leeds United Football Club. Aside from his sports teams, and that's essentially what Chad has been doing, after the acquisition, he went on as the CEO of YouTube and attempted to build a mobile video sharing platform. He also purchased a few sports franchises here and there. That takes us to Stephen Chen, YouTube's final co-founder. Stephen Chen was born in Taipei, Taiwan, on August 25, 1978. He spent the first 8 years of his childhood there before moving to Prospect Heights, Illinois, with his family. Steve attended local middle and high schools before enrolling in the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, exactly like Karim. He majored in computer science at the university and graduated in 2002. He took a job at PayPal after finishing his education, where he met Karim and Chad. Steve, unlike the other two, he did not go straight to YouTube. Steve landed a position at Facebook, where he stayed for a few months before moving on to YouTube. Steve was named Chief Technology Officer at YouTube, where he guaranteed that the site could handle all the incoming traffic. Steve received nearly the same cash out as Chad during the acquisition, 625,366 shares of Google directly and 68,721 shares through a trust. The stock was worth $325 million at the moment. However, they are currently worth $1.78 billion. Steve stayed with YouTube following the purchase until 2009. He quit YouTube in 2009 and departed Google in 2011. Then, he went along to start a new firm alongside Chad, which was, of course, AVOS Systems. Steve was really interested in creating an app developer incubator platform. However, he had no desire to create another video sharing platform. As a result, when Chad intended to integrate AVOS System into Mixbit, Steve would quit. It wasn't like there was a major corporate feud or something. Steve and Chad simply decided to go their separate ways. While Chad went on to found Mixbit, Steve returned to Google to work for Google Ventures. Google Ventures invests in businesses and helps them expand, and given Steve's interest in accomplishing this with AVOS Systems, they're essentially another firm incubator. It's no surprise that he ended up with Google Ventures. Steve actually built a website named nom.com in 2006. This website specialized in user-generated food-related content that was streamed live. Steve parted ways with Chad, ironically, because he didn't want to start another video sharing company, but a few years later, that's exactly what he did. Unfortunately, this project did not continue long, and it was shut down just a year later in 2017 for undisclosed reasons. Steve and his family opted to return to Taiwan, where they have lived ever since. For Steve, that's pretty much it. At the end of the day, Karim, Chad, and Steve all ended up working for a startup incubator. Chad and Steve reacted by doing some video sharing again, but both of them eventually abandoned their attempts. Ironically, all three of these guys keep a modest profile online, preferring to live a quiet life. Were you guys familiar with YouTube's founders? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below, and of course, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Also, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any other fantastic videos. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the future.